channel. If you're new here, my name is Kay, and we love to talk about Christian fiction books on this side of YouTube. I have not vlogged in months, so I decided that we are going to do a cozy little snowed in reading vlog. Half of the country is supposed to get a giant snow and ice storm, and given where I live in Ohio, I fully trust that we're going to be snowed in this weekend. I don't know if this vlog is only going to be over this weekend. I guess I'll just vlog until I decide I'm done vlogging. I thought it would be so fun and a good motivator for me to finish a couple of books. Let me tell you guys about the two books that I'm currently hoping to read in this vlog. So the first book is A Court of Vipers by Ashley Willingham, and I have been dying to get to this book. This last week, I have just been the slowest reader on the planet, just preoccupied with all the different things, and I want to say like 40% of the way into this book right now. Ashley Willingham just continues to blow me away with her world building, and if you don't know what this series is about, the first book is called A War of Crowns, and in the first book we're following a queen named Seraphina, and she is basically a woman who has been given the throne in all of the surrounding kingdoms, and people basically just don't think she's up to the task. We've got tensions rising, a war on the horizon. This is a slow burn Christian romantasy, and I'm just starting almost halfway through the second book, starting to get to the point where there are some sparks flying, and it is just like making me want to giggle and kick my feet. It is just so stinking cute, and I'm so excited to keep reading this, and I love the way that Ashley Willingham can write faith threads in her fantasy stories. I've never seen anything like it before. I could go on and on and on about this book, but this is one that I will be reading and hopefully updating you on. Now, the next book I'm so excited about. It is actually my first ever physical ARC. If you don't know what an ARC is, it's an advanced reader's copy of a book that publishers will send reviewers before the book is officially published. I have to give a huge thank you to Bethany House, I think they're now under Baker Book House, for sending me a copy of Marrying the Matchmaker by Jody Headland. I am a little concerned because it says this is book 4 in a series, but I think I should be able to read this. This is a Regency era Christian romance, and I just can't wait to read it and get to it. It's not too big of a book. It's just over 300 pages long, so this is one I'm hoping to start and at least finish this week. I don't know that I'll finish it in this vlog. I don't know that I'll finish either books in this vlog. I'm just excited to read another Christian Regency romance. With this book in particular, it's just going to be so special to me because it's the first physical ARC that I've received from a publishing company. I just have to say thank you to every single person who has supported my channel, that has liked, commented, subscribed, or has just been a silent viewer, because I would not be able to receive things like this if it weren't for you and your support and your trust in me and my Christian book recommendations. And so I just have to thank you. This has just been such a blessing to me, and I'm just so grateful you're here, and I'm just so grateful to be doing something that I'm so passionate about, but doing it for God's kingdom. I guess I'll leave the introduction of this video at that, and we'll just see what we end up getting into this weekend. This morning, I went and I met up with my writing friends. We meet up we try to meet up once a month, but it's more like once every other month, and we just get together and we talk about our writing projects or whatever is going on. And it was just so much fun to catch up with my friends. We didn't meet in December because of the holidays, so it's been like 2 months since we all got together, and we always meet at this coffee shop, and I just love hearing about everybody's projects and what they're working on. Right next to the coffee shop that we meet is actually a bookstore. I have a mini book haul for you guys that I wanted to go ahead and show you. It's like 2 degrees outside. We're supposed to get a ton of snow tonight. I think they're estimating like up to 12 inches of snow in my hometown, so that's gonna be crazy. I picked up a little bit of light reading for the weekend. I'm totally kidding. I'm not going to be reading this weekend. I got a copy of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas, and it's the real version, y'all. It's the chonker. It's so many people telling me that I got the abridged version, and I now know what abridged means. It means it is a shortened version of the story. I'm hoping to read this one sooner in the year than later, as long as I'm in the mood. And then I also picked up a copy of Theo of Golden by Alan Levi. This book is one that I bought before reading it, and I know one of my reading goals for this year is to try and read books before buying them. But when it came to this specific book, my library had a months and months wait to be able to read it, and I want to read this book probably in March. This book is highly recommended by one of my patrons. Hi Kirsten, if you're watching this, thank you for your recommendation. She told me this is like one of the best books she's ever read in her life. It's not technically a Christian book, but I believe that the author is a Christian. There are biblical references throughout the book, and she said that the character is one of the most Christ-like examples of people or characters that she's read. I'm just so intrigued by that, but I'm even more intrigued by the fact that this is on the top of Amazon's 100 best-selling books. When I looked at the chart, I think that this book was actually like number 3. The fact that this is a book that's very popular across the country right now, but also it has biblical references and things in it, I just really want to pick it up and read it and see what I think. And the reviews on Goodreads are absolutely stellar. I just have to read this one, and I'll let you guys know what I think. I'll let you know if there's content in it, if there's language or anything like that. But Theo of Golden is one that I really want to get to sooner than later. And then the other unboxing that I want to do with you is actually, of course, Ashley Willingham. You know me, you know that I love her books. If you go on her actual website to shop, I'll put the link in my description box. She will mail you an autographed copy of her books with swag in it, and it's like stickers and bookmarks and things like that. I just love supporting indie authors on their actual websites if I can, and knowing her, I absolutely love her books. Again, I know I'm technically on a more mindful book buying year, but this one I am totally okay with buying because I have loved every single book that she has written that I've read. Let's go ahead and open this together. Every book I've ordered from her website, I feel like I've opened it with you guys. There's a little card, and I just love that she does the wax seal. It's just so pretty, and it looks like she got actual like an embosser for her cards too. That's really awesome. She just wrote like the sweetest card to me. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love this. She sent me this little Bible card. It says 1 John 4:16 from the ESV. God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God. That is just so precious. Oh, Ashley, I love you. If you're watching this, I don't know if you watch my videos. I think you've watched a couple, but this is the book that I'm reading by her right now. She sent me the swag pack to A Court of Vipers, and I was going to go on her website and actually order this when the next book came out because I want to order the swag packs for all of the books in this series. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna cry. That's so nice of you, Ashley. Thank you for sending that. What a fun surprise. So we've got a little signature template. Oh, some beautiful character art. Looks like a battlefield scene that I have not yet read, and I'm kind of terrified. Oh, quote from the book. "You are my wife. For that reason alone, I would die for you." I just read that scene in the book too. The romantasy is finally starting to romantasy at the point where I'm at. Okay, this is called an usaru. They are kind of like the pets in this world. It's kind of like an angel snake type thing. Okay, it's the stag of the, oh gosh, I can't think of what, Avriel? Oh my gosh, I love this. In my Christian fantasy era, I would never sacrifice my queen for the sake of a few pawns. Oh, I love that quote. Oh my gosh, Ashley, I don't know if you're gonna watch this, but I can't thank you enough for that. That is so kind of you. Okay, now let's open the book together that I ordered. She sent me some hot cocoa and a little chocolate square. That's awesome. Here we are. Here's the pack. I just love her packaging. It's so fun. So this book is actually her third fairy tale retelling. It is a Christian fairy tale retelling, and this one is The Little Mermaid, but make it space. So I'm a little nervous, not because I don't believe in or trust Ashley, because I have loved every single thing she has written. Space pirates makes me just a little bit anxious, but I'm sure I will end up loving this as I have loved everything else. Stardust and Silence. It's like a space merman. She's like a pirate. That's awesome. Oh, okay. He has a plan and I have a purpose. I'm so excited to use these stickers like in my reading journal. Oh my gosh, wait, yes. I saw her share. This is like a little pet in the book, like a galaxy fox. And if you didn't know, foxes are my favorite animal. I love that sticker so much. So cute. Okay, and then we've got the character art. It's in this cute like portrait fated mates sticker. I love that. I just love that she has artwork for everything. So we've got the galaxy, which is really cool. Another print of the character art. So let's go ahead and open the book together. Here we have it, Stardust and Silence. He waited 500 years for her. Now he only has 3 days to win her heart. When I prayed to the Creator, begging for a resonance, the one whose soul was meant for mine, I never imagined she would be human, nor that she would hold the means to destroying my people forever. Lyra is my mate, but to be part of her world, Ashley, I must make a deal with the Witch King and sacrifice all that I am. Without my voice, I'm powerless, but without her, I'm nothing. 3 days, that's all I have. And if I fail, I will lose more than just my freedom. I will lose her, along with the key to saving my world. With enemies closing in and time running out, can I possibly win Lyra's heart? Or will I be lost to the Witch King's void forever? That sounds so good. I actually have chills. And I think this one is going to be on my February TBR because I want to participate at least with one book in my friend Tay's Once Upon a Faebruary readathon, which is where she encourages people to read clean fairy tale retellings. I'm very excited. That's all I have for you for this current update, and I will check in when I check in next. I have a reading update for you. It is now actually Wednesday. This snowstorm has been insane. I have not been able to leave my house, and I've also just not been brave enough to leave my house because we have been under like a severe weather warning and road emergency warning for like 5 days now. I have just been at home doing chores and that kind of stuff, but I finished A Court of Vipers. I tried to check in with you guys the other day before I finished this, but the dogs would not stop barking, so unfortunately I couldn't use any of that footage. I am absolutely obsessed with this book. This is like a 6-star book for me. The amount of political kingdom chaos in this book was just next level. The way that Ashley Willingham just drops absolute bombs in her books and gives you no warning. Like, there are so many plot twists in her stories, especially this one, that I literally did not see coming. If I could explain it in any way, I would say this book is an adrenaline rush, because the entire time I'm reading it, I'm on like the edge of my seat, clenching my fists. I'm like, my whole body is tense and I'm just frantically turning pages, trying to figure out what's going to happen next, if people are going to make it out alive. I just absolutely love it. I have never watched like a Game of Thrones or anything, but this is marketed as a Game of Thrones, but make it Christian. I can say that A Game of Thrones is the perfect way to explain what's happening in this book. It is just chaos in politics, and then the romance in this book was just so good, and I cannot wait for book 3. Book 3 doesn't come out for another 2 months. I think it's at like the end of March, and I'm going to be very impatiently waiting for book 3. If you have not read A War of Crowns and you really like highly political fantasy stories, I so recommend it. And I dare to say, of all of the fantasy books that I have read, between secular and Christian fantasy, this series might just be my #1 favorite. Now, obviously, I need to finish it when book 3 comes out, but the feelings that this book gives me, I just like can't compare to anything else. And then also the faith content in her books are just so incredible, and I just feel like there's nothing else I've ever read like it. And so I highly recommend reading A War of Crowns. Read A Court of Vipers. I liked this one even better than A War of Crowns. I think A War of Crowns, the first book, there's not much romance in it. It's pretty much just a lot of political stuff setting the stage, but I still really enjoyed that book. And this book just like was on a whole different level. I loved it so much. And then reading update 2, I have read the first chapter of Marrying the Matchmaker by Jodi Hedlund. So I did look up on Goodreads. This is the 4th book in a series, but people leaving early reviews had said you can read this without reading the rest of the series. You just might lose a little bit of background and context as to what's going on in the general time that this takes place, and then also a little bit of background for the family that this follows, but you can totally read it standalone. So I read chapter 1, and I could kind of see how people might be acquainted with these characters if they read from the beginning, but I still wasn't lost as to what was going on. And I just really think I'm going to enjoy this based off of the first chapter. So I'm going to try to finish this by the 31st of January so I can put it in my reading wrap up and officially tell you guys what I thought of it and where I stand with it. This is super cute already. I am interested to see what I think of it when I'm done. I will say the main character, female character in this, I want to say she's like maybe 18 years old. I typically don't really like following younger characters, and maybe it's just because of the stage that I'm at in life with a child and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how I feel about it. So far, I think she's cute, and I'll keep you guys posted on where I end up falling with this. I've never read anything by this author. First impression, so far, so good. I want to get into some reading journals with you guys, but first, I need to thank FlexiSpot for collaborating with me on today's video. Between YouTube, journaling, hours of editing, I realized that I was sitting way too much, so I started looking for a standing desk. When I found FlexiSpot, I was honestly blown away by the features. My wonderful husband was able to put their E7 Plus desk together for me in about 90 minutes, and he didn't have one frustrated grumble the whole time, which is rare. God bless him. He wanted to test the lifting capabilities because it can hold up to 540 pounds, and as you can see, it was husband approved. It raises to the perfect height so I can comfortably stand while journaling or editing, and it also has memory buttons that save my preferred heights, which I love. There's also a child lock for us parents. This might just be my favorite feature. Also, as a mom, cable management is a huge deal for me, and this desk keeps everything neat and out of reach so there's no clutter or loose cords. Another thing I really appreciate is how stable it is. It doesn't wobble at all. Even when I'm raising or lowering it, I never have to worry about spilling water on my journals or Bible. After a 3-hour editing session, not having lower back pain or leg cramps was such a relief. This is honestly a game changer for my workflow. FlexiSpot offers standing desks, ergonomic chairs, sofas, and more, and I've linked everything in the description box if you want to check them out. Their E7 Plus desk is completely customized by you, so you can be rest assured it's the perfect fit for your needs. And I love that FlexiSpot backs their desks with a 10-year warranty. quality, so you know you're investing in something that is built to last. Again, if you want to check them out, the link is in the description box. Now let's get back to our scheduled program. So I have a couple different reading journals that I want to show you. This first one is from Clever Fox, and they sent me this for a review, which was so nice of them. There's some things that I absolutely love about this and a few things that I don't love so much, so I just want to show you in case you're looking for a reading journal. I appreciate the different ways that you can log the books that you've read in this book. So right here you can see a monthly spread, and then you can track which days of the month you read. You can log which books you've read for the year, and then here's what I really want to show you, the actual book reviewing pages. So this one you can track things like the title, the page count, author, the type of book, the genre of book, when you started the book and finished the book, the year it was published, the themes, that kind of stuff. And I really love this little chart. This is for you to rate different things like the plot or the setting. What I really don't like are the questions here. Sorry, it's a little bit blurry, but it's asking things like, what's the aim of this book and who is the target audience? And I feel like that's not necessarily a question for me as a reader, or not something I really want to answer. But I do love that there is a blank page with every review, so you can fill that out with your favorite quotes or literally just whatever you want. I put content warnings on mine, and so I love that you get a blank page for every single book review. And I'm just kind of flipping through here so you can see this is basically the majority of this journal, and then there's a pocket in the back. I think this is a great affordable option if you're just looking for a journal that doesn't have too much in it. Now here is the other journal that I got, and this is the Live Paper Co. And I actually bought this one myself. This one wasn't sent to me, and there's a lot that I love about it. Some things I don't like. As you could see there, the side of the book, they cut these different tabbed sections into the journal. And these tabs are great, but I really don't like that they cut the paper because I'm worried about the paper tabs kind of like flipping up. And here I'm just flipping through and I'm just showing you guys some of the different spreads in this journal. There's a lot to it. I was also able to log every single one of my books on my physical TBR here, and so I'm really going to try to stick to that this year to help keep me on track with reading that down. And this one has this series tracker, which I love. I'm doing Lord of the Rings this year, and then also I plan to finish A War of Crowns, so I love that I could place those there. Now the next thing that I don't love about this is that there's a giant planner in the middle of this reading journal, and if you're using this as your planner, that's great, but I'm just using this as my reading journal. I really like that there is this monthly spread because I could find that handy for content planning, and I love this month at a glance, and you can also put your TBR for the month on the other side. I think that's fabulous for the planner. What I don't like though is that here in the middle there is a weekly spread for 5 weeks for every single month, and I'm just not going to use those. But there's a monthly wrap up at the end of every single month, and I think that is just a fantastic thing to add. Here's my favorite part. This one has a quick reviews section, so for those books that you don't necessarily have a ton to say, and I just thought that was very smart to add to this because I hate wasting a whole review page. And then it has this whole detailed review section for the books that you have a ton to say about. Of course I have Francine Rivers here because I have a ton to say when it comes to her books. This one is on the pricier end. I'm not affiliated with this company at all. I just saw them on Instagram, but I really wanted to support a small business that does reading journals, and so I think this is the one I'm going to stick with this year. Again, there's a lot that I loved about it, but there's a few things that aren't necessarily my favorite, but for the most part I think it has a lot that I as a reader and reviewer actually love. Now I just want to catch up on some book reviewing with you guys. I hope you enjoy watching my chaotic process. talk about my star rating system when it comes to fiction books. I have a totally different star rating system for nonfiction. Since I've been more serious about reviewing books online, I wanted to have a system for myself that just feels, I guess, a little bit more responsible, because I will have a consistent rating across the board. If you would like to create your own star rating system, feel free to, but also I think it's totally fine to rate books solely off of the vibes of them. But I just wanted to have something a little bit more put together, I guess, because I am recommending books to you guys and I want you guys to be able to trust my star ratings. I have 5 different sections within my star rating system. I have the plot and pacing, character and relationships, writing style and prose, themes and emotional impact, and then I have enjoyment and readability, and then I have a conversion chart here. Within each section, I have 5 different questions, and every single question is worth 1 point. So that means there's a total of 25 points possible for each of these books. So the questions I'm asking myself in plot and pacing: was the story engaging from the start to finish? Did the pacing feel consistent, not dragging or rushed? Did the stakes and tension keep me invested? Were conflicts resolved in a satisfying way? And did the ending feel earned and complete? So if I answer no to one of those questions, then I won't give a point for that question. But if it is a positive to the question, a yes, then I will give it a point. Characters and relationships. Were the characters well developed and layered? Could I connect to or root for them? Did the relationships feel authentic and dynamic? Were character arcs believable and satisfying? And did the side characters add value instead of feeling flat? For the writing style and prose, I ask, was the writing clear and immersive? Did the author's voice and style enhance the story? Were dialogue and narration natural? Was there a balance between description and action? And did the tone fit the genre or mood of the story? Then for themes and emotional impact, I ask, did the book explore meaningful themes like love, redemption, identity, faith, that kind of stuff? Did it make me feel, think, or reflect deeply? Did it carry any messages or values I appreciate? Were emotional beats powerful, like joy, sadness, or humor? Did it stick with me after finishing? And then enjoyment and rereadability. Did I want to keep picking it up? Was I bored at any point? Would I recommend this book to others? Would I reread or revisit the story, world, characters? And did it give me that special spark or the vibes? And then down here is how I convert my points to a star rating. So if it gets 23 to 25 points, it's a 5-star. It's a favorite and I loved it. So I gave myself a tiny bit of wiggle room because maybe there's something like parts of the story felt slow maybe, but everything else was really positive. And then I have 19 to 22 points is a 4-star. It was really good and I'd recommend it. 15 to 18 points, it was good, but it had noticeable flaws. 10 to 14 points is a 2-star. It was okay, not for me. And then 0 to 9 points was a 1-star. I didn't enjoy it or it had major issues. And then I also give myself optional little tweak, which I honestly haven't used yet since I started using this star rating system, but I give myself a vibe adjustment where I can subtract or add half of a star. So it could be like a 4.5. And that's if I have a stronger personal feeling about the book for any reason, I can dock or add half a star. So that's where I would get the half a star coming into play in my specific ratings. So I haven't used that yet because honestly, all of these questions have given me a very fair way of judging and rating books. And from the point system that I came up with in the questions, everything has been pretty spot on star rating wise. So that's how I go about rating my books. I wanted to share this because I had some friends that had questions. I decided to add this into my reading journal because you can see when I'm writing reviews, I actually add a section for the rating points, the plot, characters, prose, themes, enjoyment. And I do that on each of them. So you can see here, Bridge to Haven by Francine Rivers, it had a 4 out of 5 for the plot, a 3 out of 5 for enjoyment. So it had a total of 22 points. And that's how I knew to give it 4 stars because it fell in that scale. But yeah, so that's kind of how I go about doing that. I need to add that here. I totally forgot. I'll probably add it to the side here somewhere. But that's kind of how I go about doing my actual ratings. I also am trying to be intentional about adding a content warning section to my reviews, just so I can keep track of it better for you guys. But I just wanted to do that little bit of reading journaling with you guys and just kind of show you a little bit more about how I go about that process. I honestly love it. I love having a creative process with my actual hands when it comes to journaling about books and reviews beyond just Goodreads. Another day, another reading update. Marrying the Matchmaker. I am 90 pages into this book and I think I might just end up loving it. We'll see where it ends. But in this book, you are following Zaira. I think that's how you say her name. It's Z-A-I-R-A, Zaira. So you're following Zaira and you are also following Bellamy. And Bellamy is in the business of matchmaking. This is in the 1850s in St. Louis, Missouri. And Bellamy, his entire family has been matchmakers, setting up couples to get married for love matches. It is his time that he now needs to find a wife, though he doesn't want to. This is pressure from his family. And then you are also following Zaira, and Zaira is an undercover authoress, which I am learning is like a huge trope in historical romances, is the woman is always a writer, and I'm not mad at that. It's just something I've noticed. Zaira, she just got her first job to publish work, and it's under a fake name. Basically, she's working on writing a romance, but she's never experienced romance herself. And then she also knows Bellamy because Bellamy has been the matchmaker for her whole family up until her. And I think that's where the first 3 books of this series took place. It was Bellamy being the matchmaker to set up her siblings with people. She has learned a secret of Bellamy's, that he is actually an undercover painter artist. And so he knows her secret that she's an authoress. She knows his secret that he's an artist. And so they both kind of like have this secret for each other and kind of like this shared mutual respect not to kind of share that with anybody, but it gives them leverage over one another. Zaira ends up getting her first job as a writer, and one of the critiques that she got was that her romance needed to be more realistic. One day, Bellamy walks by, like in the first chapter. He is on the way to set up, which has been nearly an impossible task, to set up the senator's daughter with somebody, and she's just saying no to everybody. And Zaira's like, well, hey, I actually know who she's in love with, so if you need help making a match for her, I can give you what you need. But in return, you have to let me experience romance. And so it's kind of like this interesting bargain that they have with each other. It's just so cute, but also Zaira, she's just like one of the most bold women that I have read so far in historical romance. She's just very upfront about what she wants. She's just a very bold woman and she knows what she wants, and even on the inside when like you can tell she's about to be anxious or nervous about something, she's like, I'm just gonna go for it because I can't let this fear build in me. And I really love that about her character. And then Bellamy, he's kind of like the it guy of the time, so to speak. He's like the most attractive man on the block. Everybody wants to marry Bellamy. And so they are kind of at odds with each other, kind of like, I hate him, I hate her, I would never marry. And then an incident happens and they end up coming to an arrangement to have a fake engagement to prevent certain scandal from happening. We've got not only historical fiction, Christian romance, and by the way, the faith threads are super, super light through this. I expect that with historical romance, especially like a historical rom-com romance. The faith threads are just very light mentions, just kind of like, oh, these people are Protestant and these people are Catholic, and you know, just like subtle comments like that through it. Nothing has been really intense. Oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh, so we've got like this historical romance, Christian fiction book, but we've also got fake dating, but make it historical. And so they're like fake courting, fake engaged in some way. And so that's the part that I've stopped at. So I don't know like what happens past this yet, but I'm really excited to keep reading it because it's just having all of the things that I really enjoy in a rom-com, but also in a historical romance. I will say it's not been as laugh out loud funny as other historical rom-coms that I've read, but it does have some humor in it that I have appreciated. So that's just my little reading update for Marrying the Matchmaker. I really think I'm going to enjoy this so long as it keeps continuing down the track that it has continued down. It's just been full of some of my absolute favorite tropes. At this point, it has been about a week and a half of me working on this vlog. By the way, Zion's in the room with us, so you're gonna get some toddler sound effects. I need to put this vlog to an end. I feel like vlogs are such an odd thing to figure out how to end because it's just such a hodgepodge of different things. But first, I want to give you one more reading update, and then I want to show you something really exciting that I got in the mail from Crossway. Reading update, I finished Marrying the Matchmaker by Jody Headland. This book was just super duper cute. I ended up giving this a 3.5 star rating. This was actually the first time I did use the half-star rating adjustment because the point system took it to a 3-star, but it was like a high 3-star. So I decided to settle at 3.5. I feel like this was just super duper cute. There were some kind of things that I think confused me a little bit, or things that I could tell were spoilers from the previous books. So that's on me totally. I think my biggest complaint with this book is I just feel like it wasn't as funny as I typically enjoy in a historical romance, but it was a really fun read, super cute. I will say the ending of this book was the definition of swoony, and I absolutely loved it. It ended on the cutest note that it possibly could have, and I really enjoyed it. There were some things storyline wise that I felt like kind of came out of left field, but I still in the end really enjoyed this book. I think this is a really cute one, a fun one. If you are going to read this, I would recommend starting at the first book. I'll put it up on the screen here. I don't know what the first book is, but that's something I might revisit in the future just because I did really enjoy this. But I'll visit it in the future after I give myself some distance from this one, because I do think I've been spoiled a little bit for the first couple books. And then who knows, maybe when I revisit this, I might like fall in love with the family even more, and it could be a higher rating. But first time, 3.5 stars for this I feel like is pretty good. I enjoyed it. So the fun thing that I got in the mail that was such a fun surprise was actually from Crossway, and it was this set prayer journals, and there's different topics. So I started the gospel one today, which I'm just really excited to get into. So it's the gospel, evangelism, forgiveness, wisdom, peace, humility, hope, and faith. Those are the 8 different topics, and you guys, these are stunning. If you know me, you know that like my aesthetic is like cottagecore, florally. I love watercolored type of things. And these are so beautiful. Like, oh my word, oh my word. And I just wanted to share a little bit about like what these are. So they have like an introduction in the beginning, kind of telling you what this is for. And then it kind of gives you a breakdown of how it's going to be. So an introduction to this is like, this is going to be a 6-week prayer. I don't want to say study, like it's kind of a study, but let me just read it to you so it makes more sense. One thing these journals are for then is to provide clear, concise definitions and teaching on foundational themes of the Bible that we often talk about, but perhaps don't fully understand. The second purpose of this journal is to help us study God's Word and some of its crucial themes prayerfully. This journal aims to help you approach Bible study as a conversation with God who delights in revealing himself to his people. I just absolutely love that. So the beginning of each week, I'll film like a flip through of this to make you, so you can see it better, but at the beginning of each week, for this book, it's the gospel and like what this prayer journal is about. And then look how beautiful this is. You get the watercolor from the front throughout this too. So week 1, it gives you the scripture that you're reading, and then the scripture's also on the page here, and then you get a topic every week. So week 1's topic is on atonement, and then you kind of read a little bit about atonement or whatever that topic is and what it has to do with the gospel or how it corresponds to whatever the theme of that prayer notebook is. Every day you have a little excerpt to read, and then it gives gives you a prompt to pray over the scripture that you read for that day. I went ahead and wrote out my prayer, and honestly, I think this is going to be wonderful. I think this is exactly something that I've been looking for. I've been looking at these journals for months now, and so I was just blown away that Crossway sent them to me. That was just such a pleasant surprise and such a blessing. It's been super important to me to get better at prayer. I grew up in a home that was not a Christian home. Nobody ever prayed. Even my family members that were Christians, if we'd get together at their house for like holidays or stuff, like nobody prayed at the holidays. We just did not pray. That's something in my adult life, and especially since becoming a mom and a wife, that I've just really found prayer important, but it's something I need to be way more intentional about. So having things like this to pair with my Bible study every single day to be more intentional in what I'm praying about, I think is just going to be so wonderful, because a lot of the times I do feel like I am guilty of coming to God and saying, Lord, I need this, please help me with this thing, which isn't wrong. Like, God wants to help his children. I just want and desire to have a relationship with God where I'm not just coming to him with my needs. I want to come to him in prayer, and I want to praise him more than I'm asking for things from him, if that makes sense. I just desire to have that kind of relationship with the Lord where I want to be a prayer warrior. I would love that to be a way that people describe me. It's something that I just think is very important. I'm so sorry, you guys, about all of the Zion craziness, but this is the time I have to film. I just desire to have that kind of intimate relationship with the Lord where I am coming to him with everything, and I pray throughout the day every day, but it's one of those things that I just really want to be intentional about. I don't want it to be just another thing that I'm like checking off on a list every single day, but I also think it's important that we discipline ourselves and we build those types of routines, because discipline and spending time in our word and spending time with the Lord, those are biblical practices that we should be doing whether we feel like doing something or not. And I'm learning that every time I come to pray, every time I'm coming to my Bible, it doesn't have to be this whole I'm so on fire for the Lord is showing me absolutely everything and revealing everything I could ever need right now, and I love those seasons when I'm in them. But I'm learning that even if I don't come away from scripture with some big emotional high, that this is still God's word and his gift of us being able to have life with him, that it doesn't matter if you feel that kind of high. And every single time you're coming to the word, it should be something that you're doing because you want to know the Lord, you desire to have closeness with him. And so a way we can be close with him is through prayer and through reading our Bible every single day. And so I just kind of went off on a little rabbit trail there. I love that the Lord gives us these ways to connect with him, and I'm so excited to do more in my prayer life and just continue studying his word and God revealing who he is. That's all I have for you for this vlog. I'm assuming this was probably a more long-winded video, so if you made it all the way to the end here, please leave me an emoji of snow if you received snow during the end of January while these storms were going on, or leave me a sunshine emoji if you didn't have any snow in your area. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you and all of your support, and I will see you next time. Bye!